It's been a while since this drone has been out on the market, and in today's video we'll talk about my long-term impressions of the DJI Mini 2, pros and cons, and whether you should buy one in 2021. Hey everyone, this is Mike. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, join the squad, and I hope you have a great time on this channel. So the DJI Mini 2, one of these drones that you just cannot neglect. And why is that? Well, we have 4K video, we have 3-axis stabilization, we have Occusync transmission technology with a great range, 30-minute flight time, and it's sub 250 grams. What's not to love about it? There are of course many things that I do love about this drone and a few that I don't really like, and we'll talk all about them in today's video. First, let's start with the usability, as I think this is probably the biggest strength of this drone. The fact that it's so tiny and portable means that you can literally put it in the pocket of your jacket and put the remote in your other pocket of your jacket and go fly. That's all you really need besides your phone, and you're good to go. You don't even need to take out your backpack. You can just take this and have a 30-minute flight wherever you go. And it's that simple. Normally, when I prepare to go somewhere and shoot, I carry my big backpack full of gear, full of many things that I carry with me. Here, the only things I need is just the drone, the remote, my phone, and occasionally some ND filters. So pretty much that's everything I need for a flight with this drone. How crazy is that? I just love the fact that it's so portable, so usable. Pretty much anywhere you go, you can take it with you and it shouldn't be a problem. So that's something that I definitely appreciate. The usability factor is huge when it comes to the DJI Mini 2. Now let's take a closer look at the camera, because the 4K quality is something that I definitely enjoy. At the beginning, I have to be honest, I didn't expect it to be that good, especially coming from a DJI Mavic Mini 1. The camera was not ideal, so I was expecting it to be just a slight upgrade compared to that. Well, it was not the case. The 4K quality of the Mini 2 is absolutely perfect for your daily needs and uploading videos on YouTube, and I think many people will have trouble identifying this drone compared to, let's say, a Mavic Air 2 or even the Mavic 2 Zoom, for example. You will have trouble identifying which drone is which. The camera is that good. Of course, if you're pixel peeping or you're comparing two images side by side, you will see some differences, but that's not the point. The point is that the 4K quality is not only good enough, I would say it's just as good as any other DJI drone from the middle section of their lineup, and I'm just fine with the quality. I wouldn't say it's bad. Of course, I wouldn't use it at nighttime, for example, but when you have plenty of light, the quality is just great. When it comes to color grading, you don't have a flat color profile. This is a feature that has been reserved for the bigger, more expensive drones that DJI has to offer. However, I still think it's possible to color grade this footage in a way that, you know, lets you add your little creative touch to it and makes it look a little bit more cinematic. So personally, I think this is not an issue for most people. Every time I record videos with the DJI Mini 2, I add my own LUT for it, and the results are pretty good in my opinion, so I wouldn't say the lack of flat color profile is a deal breaker for me, especially considering the price. To improve the video quality by introducing some natural motion blur, I use ND filters from Freewell. These are the ones that I usually use, and for the most part I either use the ND16 or the ND32 depending on the light. If you're not sure how to use ND filters, it's really simple, but if you don't want to deal with manual camera settings, you can still put, let's just say, an ND16 and leave the camera in auto. That will make sure that your shutter speed is a little bit lower, so you'll have less stuttering and more natural motion blur in your footage, while still having the automatic camera settings applied to your footage, so you don't have to worry about it at all. I would have been really happy if DJI released ND filters for the Mini 2 and put them inside the Fly More combo, for example, so you can have filters designed for the Mini 2 from DJI coming in the package itself. That would have been a little bit easier. Now you have to go and buy them separately, and I'll leave a link in the description if you want to buy the freewell ones. Before going any further with this video, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community where millions come together to take the next step in their creative journey, with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people on topics including illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and more. It's curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads and they're always launching new premium classes, so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. If you're into tech, I'm sure you've heard about MKBHD, and he happens to be one of my favorite creators on this platform, and he recently released his own Skillshare class, and best believe I took that class because he talks about his success on YouTube, how he made it, his little secrets that he wants to share with us. And it's very interesting to hear from the man itself and hear somebody that is so successful share some tips on how to improve on YouTube. So this is just one of the 1,000 classes that you can find on Skillshare. The first 1,000 of my subscribers who click the link in the description are going to get free trial for Skillshare Premium, so you can start exploring your creativity today. Now let's talk about the range a little bit, because my first impression of this drone, and especially the range, was quite bad. I think I was close to an obstacle that was really making my signal go very bad, because I was having tons of problems in my very first flight. However, after trying out the drone in a couple of different environments, I saw there is nothing to worry about, as Occusync 2.0 has been rock solid ever since, and I haven't had any issues with my signal, successfully pushing the drone more than 4 kilometers away during my range test. And for my regular flying, I never go that far anyway, so even flying in urban areas has been a very successful experience for me, so I really haven't had any issues ever since that first negative impression. So all in all, this drone definitely steps up very massively from the DJI Mini 1, the original one, which has been pretty bad in terms of range. And now I definitely feel a lot more comfortable pushing this drone a little bit further away, even in urban areas, and I can still rely on the signal strength. Of course, one of the things that this drone has been advertised for is the improved wind resistance. And you can really notice that, especially if you're coming from the original Mini 1, because here you have a lot more power to battle the winds, and the stability during your flight, even when there are super strong winds, is just great. Don't get me wrong, this drone is not a complete powerhouse that will sustain all sorts of winds, but for the most part, it is a massive improvement compared to the previous model. Another thing which I quite like is the improved design of the propellers, and because of that, the drone is also a lot more quiet, which is always a positive thing for me, and I do enjoy it a hell of a lot more. When it comes to the battery life, I'm quite used to owning different Mavics, and all of them have a rough flight time of about 30 minutes, give or take a few, and here it's no different. Usually you have a guaranteed flight time of about 22-25 minutes, depending on how much sport mode you're using, how much wind there is, and what you do with the drone itself. But in my tests, for the most part, 22-23 minutes is what I usually get with this drone, depending on how I fly, which is pretty good for me. And also keeping in mind how small the drone is, and being able to keep up with the bigger drones like the Mavic Air 2 or the Mavic 2 Pro, I think this is pretty great. And I really don't have that many things to complain about when it comes to the DJI Mini 2, because it's quite the perfect drone in this segment. For the price you pay, you get a lot of features. You get the 4K quality, you get the stabilization, you have the great range and the battery life. And there aren't many things that are missing on this drone. You have to keep in mind this is a entry-level drone that is perfect for people who have never flown before, or just looking for a nice piece of tech that they don't have to register, they don't have to get really deep into, so they can create some great looking shots. For me, my personal experience with the Mini 2 has been very positive, and for the most part I find myself taking it when I have a lot of other gear inside my backpack, but I just want to have a camera drone with me to snap some photos, maybe some quick videos here and there. And I take it with me because I know it's not going to take too much space, and I know it will give me good results no matter what. And here comes the question that we need to answer in today's video. Should you buy a DJI Mini 2 in 2021? My answer is yes. If the price is a factor for you and you don't want to spend as much money as the DJI Mavic Air 2, for example, or the Air 2S, or even the Mavic 2 Pro, I think the DJI Mini 2 is a great option that will not only allow you to capture great shots, but it will show you what having a drone is, if it's your first ever drone, and it will let you see if flying a drone is something that you enjoy or not. There are so many people who buy drones, fly them a couple of times, and then they never leave their shelf afterwards. So why spending so much money on a more expensive, bigger drone if you've never flown before? It's better to get your feet wet with the DJI Mini 2, see how it is to actually fly a drone, and if you like it, you can always get to the bigger drones afterwards. So that's pretty much it, guys. This is everything that I have for you. Please don't forget to like the video if you have enjoyed it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and if you are extra generous today, hit the notification bell so you're notified every single time I post a new video. This is Mike from Drone Supremacy. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.